First story. Found suspicious messages on wife's phone. So we've been going through a bit of a bad patch for a while. One evening my wife wanted to be romantic, but I didn't read the signs and messed it up a bit. She was angry and frustrated, and thus, we had quite a frank and probably overdue discussion about our marriage. During this she brought up opening up the marriage as a way to save it. I was a bit shell-shocked really and didn't follow up with more questions as I would have if more level-headed in the moment. We had further discussions about what we want, what we can change. I asked her if she still wanted to open the marriage and she said she would. I said I'd think about it. I wasn't sure what to think so went here and searched for opening up the marriage. Basically almost every post said the other party is likely already cheating or has someone lined up. Of course no one wants to believe that, but of course it got the alarm bells ringing. In the meantime another guy kind of starts being more present, which I thought was a bit odd. I mean, I would usually have no suspicions, but everything added together made me uneasy. I'm not proud of this, but I decided to look through her phone, and there were a lot of messages, like multiple per day, from this guy, and they seemed quite close. Been messaging for perhaps 6 months or so. He messaged that he really likes her, but not really any big smoking guns from her side. She seemed more cagey in her responses. Even after he messaged her his feelings, she still kept up communication and didn't set any strong boundaries with him or anything. She sent him a picture from a day trip we made, and said she hoped it didn't make him uneasy when he met the rest of her family one time. Basically it got to him then asking when he can see her again, and her replying that it's tricky and she isn't sure. She's been going to concerts alone quite a lot recently, and she was there as she sent pics etc. and seemed to meet him at the first one she was alone at. Since then they seem to have been arranging to meet up at these concerts semi-regularly. I broached the subject with her by saying that the circumstances around her asking for an open relationship and this guy suddenly being on the scene, and she said she's not at all interested in him. But when I asked if he has feelings for her, she said no idea. Of course that last part is a lie. I've no idea how to proceed. Of course I shouldn't have looked through her phone without asking. This is something I never did before as I had no reason to, and I feel really bad about that. On the other hand, she's been keeping secrets from me, deceiving me, and perhaps worse. Honestly, I don't know what to believe right now. I believe her that nothing physical happened, but still my gut told me something wasn't right, which was obviously true. She sees it as quite innocent, more like she was getting the attention she deserved. Not entirely unfairly, as I wasn't giving her enough attention, probably got a bit lazy. Not that I got much from her either for a while, at least not much positive. I already turned down opening the marriage, which she accepted. Still, the question doesn't feel good. I can believe that she met this guy, who is actually quite a lot older, at the first concert. They have similar music tastes, so land up at similar concerts. I could believe that nothing happened from her side, apart from enjoying the attention, I guess. But I can't be sure, of course. Update. Just spoke to her about it. She got very angry about me looking at her phone. She still insists that nothing happened, and she was enjoying the attention somewhat that she didn't feel she was getting from me, which is why she didn't tell me. Things have been tough between us for a while. She was very upset. I don't know, feel kind of shitty right now. She is more angry, I think, that I saw the messages yesterday morning and didn't say that I had done so straight away. We had a nice day and evening and great sex. Wasn't going to say anything today, but couldn't hold it in the end. I did believe her yesterday, or wanted to, which is why we had a nice day, but couldn't get it out of my head today. Still feeling shitty though. Makes sense. I'm not sure if they were dates as such, from what I know. More that they have the same interest in bands, so of course they will meet from time to time. Though one concert was arranged that they meet, that he buys the tickets, etc. As I mentioned, she's more angry that she felt like I led her along yesterday, whilst knowing the content of the messages, but only saying something today, and that was because I believed her yesterday and wanted to. The guy is quite a bit older, and we had a nice day together. We are both mid-40s, together 15 years and married for 10. Honestly, there have never been cheating episodes from either of us in that time. I only got suspicious lately due to the open marriage topic, which friend of ours are exploring seemingly happily. I'm familiar with the divorce process here. Update. Still figuring it out for myself. My wife ended, by her own initiative, I didn't demand it, the contact to this other guy. Apparently he responded, "It's a shame that a grown-up man and woman can't have a friendship." The cheek of it. I don't think I'm being lied to though. No. She did say that she's not prepared to totally ignore him if when he's also at concerts we go to together. There are regular small concerts locally which we have enjoyed for a couple of years. It is a bit of an awkward situation in that sense. I will raise the open marriage topic again. As I posted, it's something that seems to work for friends of ours, which is where she said she got the idea, but I'm not sure we can go on if this is something she really desires. We still have a lot of talking to do. I think we've been on much better terms lately. It feels like we've turned a corner. Feels like we are a proper couple again. I do believe her when she said that nothing happened, well, nothing physical, and we've discussed the secret stuff. Can I be 100% sure? I guess not, but either I can forgive, hopefully learn to trust again, or otherwise that will be the end of us. Right now I'm not sure, still dealing with lots of emotions which we need to talk through. I guess the easiest would have been to end it, but I still think we can have a great future together. I hope so at least. I think she's curious about the idea, but she's accepted that it's staying closed. Of course that doesn't mean she can't just open it one-sided. I realize that. We've discussed a lot the importance about open and honest communication. I hope that we can implement and keep the communication channels open, at least in addition to what I previously wrote. If I can take what she said at face value, was that the open marriage idea was an attempt to revive our dead bedroom, which I can understand. Since that chat, the bedroom has been good again, just the other stuff which is a mess. Definitely not being love bombed, and I don't think it's a jealousy triggering thing. I'm beginning to wonder if I'm overreacting and everything is as she said. Of course the secret keeping stuff isn't acceptable, but I never found any smoking guns really. Other than there was the secret contact going on. Doesn't mean I'm not being gaslit and all that other stuff. I've read a few crazy sad stories here already. I guess I need to decide if I can live with everything the way it played out and how amenable she is to reconciliation, showing remorse and earning back my trust. We need to have another chat, but there's not really time for the next few days, so we'll see after that. Trust is shaken for sure, and you're right. That felt like that was being weaponized. She is very quick to temper and then that kind of thing comes out. I'm wondering whether it's worth continuing TBH or just cut my losses. At some point it's just not worth it anymore. I think this post describes the situation well. We had somewhat grown apart and for sure she wasn't getting much attention from me. Not that I'm only blaming myself here, but I can also see my part in this mess. I feel like she once wanted to make it work with us. I hope for genuine reasons. I've already told her I looked through her phone. She has in fact now changed her code, without telling me that. It also seems like she's determined to keep contact with this guy, who she insists is a friend, and I can't tell her who she can and can't meet. Which is on the face of it a fair comment. Unless it's something that could possibly damage our relationship. Plus with the history of secrecy here and the somewhat expression of feelings from his side, I think it's entirely reasonable to insist on no contact with him. After reflecting, I would have another chat with her. I'd like to insist on no contact with that other guy. Open phone policy. Fine from my side. I think she would resist. And I'd like to review together with her the chat history with that guy, as she said I read too much into it. I think if we do that, we could have a chance. She's resisting marriage counseling. If not, I think I would sadly have to end things. which would break my heart, especially for our kids, but I can't continue like this. Would love to hear comments and advice, thank you. Update. Apart from the updates in the comments section here, I wanted to add a larger update, trying to keep to the facts as I know them and were able to deduce from her messages. So we had an initial discussion after I raised this whole thing after reading her messages. She'd blown up as I'd raised it after knowing about it for more than a day and us having a nice evening together. We had plans which couldn't be rearranged, which is why I didn't raise anything immediately. I know you'll say gaslighting, deflection, etc. could be true. We had a chat the next day and, for me, her explanation seemed plausible. They'd met during a concert and swapped numbers. The following concerts, semi-regularly, like once every 1-2 months, were ones they would have attended anyway. This makes sense. Of course they said they were going to them and I guess chatted there. There were also other people from a larger group of an unrelated concert series who were also there. As far as I know, they had only directly arranged to meet alone for one concert. I'm certain nothing sexual happened as there wasn't the opportunity. I can't rule out other physical stuff, e.g. kiss, hand-holding, etc. She ended the friendship with this guy at her own behest. I accepted that explanation and wanted to move forwards, and we had a great week or so. Of course emotions aren't easy to suppress, and I raised the thing again recently after not sleeping well, etc. She blew up again about saying now she feels used, that we can't continue if I don't trust her, that she ended contact with that guy for me, and that now she feels like rolling that back and establishing contact with him if I don't trust her anyway. I know you'll say again, typical deflection. I'm just wondering if there's the smallest chance she's telling the truth now and her anger is for a genuine reason? Or it's more guilt deflection talking? I guess there's no way to know for sure, right? I'm not sure if there's a chance of saving this now. The minimum would be continued no contact from this guy, and I'm also thinking of suggesting an open phone policy. At the end of the day, I'm being made to feel bad because I don't trust her, that she deserves her privacy. Never got much remorse for the secrecy BTW other than and I made a mistake, it won't happen again. But I feel like she has to earn my trust back and not the other way around. Update. Wife's emotional affair. Since then we've had a number of chats about what happened. Each time she gets angry, defensive, and tries to turn the blame on me. Remorse is about zero and not even an apology. She partially admits she wouldn't find it cool if I did that, but then says she's effectively being punished for having made a new male friend. She did cut contact with the guy when I first found out in her own initiative. She says she understands why I'm upset. Honestly, we seem so far apart on this issue, I can't see a way forward. I suspect most all of the comments here will recommend divorce, but I'm finding it hard to pull the trigger, even though I can't see another way forward right now. Could definitely be an ego thing. She almost never apologizes. I was quite shocked when I got an apology recently. She's been quite against couples counseling, but maybe I'll just sign us up and go on my own if I have to. Might be that she then decides to come along after all. Second story. My wife had sexual conversations with other men. Wife had spicy conversations. I've been 8 years with my now wife and need help because I don't know how to tell someone this. Recently I found my wife talking on DM with a longtime ex. She told him that she wasn't with me and wanted to meet with him. She met with him and I saw a photo of them. I confronted her and she told me nothing happened. I trust her a lot. Now sometime recently, by accident on his tablet, I found a screenshot of her saying to someone that don't leave her. Then I found out she's talking to a man and fantasizing about having sex. I don't know how long she's been talking, but I think they're exchanging photos. I don't really know what to do. I feel broken right now. Right now I don't know anymore, because she turned vanish mode. She's my only love, and I don't know what to do. Update. I know it's been a lot of time, but I'm ready to talk about After that incident, I was monitoring her socials without her knowing, and she didn't talk to him for like a week. And conversations were short like how she was. I did also found out that he was married. I noticed that my wife was trying to talk to him during the day. Weeks passed by, then one night I woke up on the middle of the night and she was awake. Then like 20 minutes later, she says that she needs to talk to me. And she admitted that was talking to a guy and had private conversations and talked things that they weren't supposed to talk. We were on a rough spot on our relationship because I started suffering from depression. And when I felt bad, I usually locked myself and talked to no one. But in the meantime, I learned that I don't have to do that and started working on that. And she didn't feel loved. And she thought I didn't loved her. She told me everything and showed me the conversations they had. She was very embarrassed to tell me that though she did not have sex, because he lived far away, she felt dirty because she talked things. Also, she reassured me it didn't happen since that day, and she wasn't lying because I knew. I said that if we wanted to continue, he will need to talk to his wife about that, and he did. He told me that he was sorry about it and was ashamed of what he did. She talked to his wife and he's divorcing because she couldn't handle it, though wasn't physically, but it hurts to her. I talked to his wife too. My wife told me that he drinks a lot on nights and that's when the incident happened. And she was trying to avoid talking to him on nights because she felt horrible. I was going to confront her on our anniversary, but she did it first. As now I still living in the house but I sleep in my game room. Figuring what I'm going to do. She looks devastated for weeks. I know that because she was a woman full of life and always happy. Now I don't even recognize her. She looks sadder than ever. And she is waiting for my decision, whether I stay or not. She told me that she feel ashamed of what she's done and she's not gonna do it again. And to prove it, she gave me all her socials and access to her phone. Again, she looks completely devastated. I'm still figuring out what to do. Update. I will try to answer all here. The time she met his ex, I was in a rough spot with my mental health and I usually pushed her away. Yes, I know that my mental health isn't an excuse. I found out because she was eating with him in her lunch break, because a coworker told me, because the coworker thought that he was a relative. But the coworker told me that she was very respectful towards him and stop him if something sketchy happened. And I don't think I would tell her family, because either I left or not, she's a human and I have beautiful memories with her. I wouldn't want on my enemy that. I know maybe I'm soft, but I hate to hurt people. And if I fix things with her, I don't want the family to be talking about that. And I know she is deeply in regret because she's not the same woman I've married since she told me. She's been crying almost every day. And now she's giving me her phone without deleting nothing. And I have all her socials cause she put every single one on my phone. And I'm thinking to try counseling to see how things works. My family loves her and maybe we could work things out. But there will be rules. I don't blame her too much because I neglected her for some time because I focused on my problems and I didn't see her problems. Third story. Wife has a childhood friend that she won't stop talking to. Please bear with me, this is going to be long. My wife, 34F, and I, 29M, have been married for 2 years now, but we had to live separately for the last 2 years because of our work. Last year, almost after a year of our marriage, we went out our honeymoon to Europe, which was basically financed by my brother as a wedding gift. Before we went on our honeymoon, we were having some issues because my wife had lost her father and I was struggling with depression, I think, long-distance marriage issues and problems with job. So I was fighting with her all the time, and she was avoidant and distant, which used to make me even more angry. Anyway, while at our honeymoon, I used to notice that he would sleep late and wake up way before me and would generally sit in a different room and be on his phone. I got really suspicious one morning. I went bonkers and snatched her phone from his hand and started going through all the messages and call logs. She was in touch with her childhood friend throughout our honeymoon, sending each other explicit pictures, recording video doing herself while I was asleep next to her the whole time. There was full of explicit, but she was extremely attached with this childhood friend of her, calling each other by pet names and many video calls at least once a week for about 3 months. There were messages on Instagram too, some memes and some video calls. I lost it. I started shouting, screaming, crying and became physical. I didn't hit her, but pulled or pushed her. I created a big scene and locked myself in the room the whole day. The rest of the honeymoon was the most fucked up phase I have ever been through in my life. I found myself completely distraught, crying, sleeping with a stranger that I called my wife, in a completely different country. She didn't own up to her mistake. She just kept saying he is my childhood friend and I haven't done anything with him, and that she hasn't seen him in 10 years since we lives in a different continent. She gaslit me into believing that I was extremely unsupportive when her father passed away, and that I have anger management issues and needed help. After we got back from the honeymoon, I started taking therapy for anxiety and depression and I've recovered over the last year. However, recently, when I went through her phone, she was still in touch with her childhood friend, and discovered he'd been our town last week, and their meetup in hotel. She stayed for 4 days. She said she's visiting her dad. I again lost it and confronted her. She kept lying that she hasn't spoken to him in months, and he must have sent some message that she isn't aware of. She didn't own up and refused to accept that she is having an affair with her childhood friend. I don't know what they doing on the hotel during 4 days about since all the chats were deleted. When I asked her why she deleted his chat, she just says that I deleted it because I go crazy every time she speaks to him. I believed her and I let it go. But this morning, I saw a text from her that was sent last night, that she will speak to him later. I am again on the verge of having a mental breakdown. I am heartbroken. I feel disrespected and disgusted. I just don't know what to do. What is this? Who is wrong? Fourth story. D-Day and I don't know what to do next. I found out my WW has been hooking up with her AP countless times over the last 20 years that we've been dating and married. Married the last 14 years. I'm told it was only when we all got together in our friend group and everyone had too much to drink. They would stay up later than everyone else and that's how they got away with it for that long. WW is obviously very apologetic now and wants to do anything to make it right, but I can't get over that span of time. However, we have, and I'm not making this up, 3 adopted kids that we just finalized on the adoption in June. They are all blood related. That's not super relevant but worth mentioning. And I can't fathom not figuring out a way to make our marriage work for this, as well as the fact that I do love her a lot and can't imagine hanging it all up over this for good. However, another nail in the coffin is the AP was one of my best friends and we hang in a tight 3-couple group, with about 8 kids between us all. There has been a dead bedroom thing going on for some time due to mismatched libidos. I have ebbed and flowed depending on antidepressant meds, but I have always had a much higher libido than her and this hurts for that reason. Finally, OBS probably doesn't know yet and I don't know if I should be the one to push that notification. The AP has always had issues around infidelity with OBS, so it wouldn't be anything new, and I'm conflicted on whether she would actually want to know. But she would know something is up since I'm going to disappear from that side of the equation. And if I stay together with my WW, then she will too. So this changes everything. I don't know what to do next. I'm feeling really hurt and sick to my stomach. I'm going into my psychiatrist tomorrow. I tried to get an IC appointment and the only one's accepting new patients is at a month for scheduling. I do live in a somewhat rural area. I'm just very depressed and I'm staying at our cabin tonight while I process further. My 3-year-old daughter was crying that I was leaving when I left the home tonight after dropping them off. I haven't talked to anyone other than WW and texts with AP. I am hesitant to tell anyone else because I can't take that knowledge back once I do. If I want to, what's the first step? Do I go back home and sleep in separate rooms for now? Should I keep my distance even though it's really hard because of the kids?